What most people regret after turning 60 is not that illness came too early, but that they did not realize their body was crying for help. As we grow older, our body begins to change in subtle ways. A slight tremor in the hands, a mind that feels one beat slower, or brief moments of dizziness or tingling on one side of the body. Most people brush it off, thinking it is just fatigue, lack of sleep, or simply part of getting old. But in reality, behind those small, almost unnoticeable signs may lie the brain's earliest warning that blood flow is being blocked and millions of nerve cells are slowly starving for oxygen. The sad truth is most people miss the golden moment to save themselves just because they do not understand what their body is trying to say. And when a stroke strikes, even a few minutes of delay can mean that nothing will ever be the same again. The good news is, there is a surprisingly simple way to extend your brain's living time before medical help arrives. No drugs, no equipment, just the right position and the right breathing. It is a natural reflex, yet neurologists call it the move that can save your brain within the first 3 minutes. In today's video, Dr. Margaret Lewis from the channel Elderly Wisdom Diaries will help you understand the silent signs showing your brain is starving for blood, the ones most people over 60 tend to overlook. And more importantly, one simple breathing and lying down technique that keeps blood flowing to your brain when every second counts. Because sometimes what determines life or death is not modern medicine, but your own calm and awareness. Watch this video until the end, because just by understanding and remembering what you are about to hear, you could save your own life or the life of someone you love on what seems like an ordinary day. Dr. Margaret Lewis appears on screen, speaking softly yet firmly. Every 40 seconds, someone in the United States has a stroke, and every 4 minutes, someone loses their life because of it. What pains me most is that many of them could have survived, they just did not know they were in danger. A stroke does not strike like thunder. It comes quietly, like parts of the brain being switched off one by one. When blood flow to the brain is interrupted even for a few dozen seconds, millions of neurons begin to shut down. That tingling hand, that slurred speech, that blurry vision, they are not random. They are the brain's final cry for help. Yet many people, especially after 60, confuse fatigue with warning. They think, maybe I just need more sleep. They sit down, drink a sip of water, and wait for the feeling to pass. And when it does fade away, they think they are safe. But in truth, the countdown has just begun. In medicine, we call this the 3 golden minutes window. The first 3 minutes after the brain starts losing blood. Within those 3 minutes, every correct move can decide the rest of your life. No one else can replace you in that moment. You are the first responder for your own brain. The good news is science now confirms that a simple technique can help extend brain cell survival time and maintain oxygen flow until the ambulance arrives. No medical devices, no doctor at your side, just the right posture, the right breathing rhythm, and calmness. Dr. Lewis looks directly into the camera, her voice calm and warm. Let us learn this together. In just a few minutes, you will understand why your breath and gravity can become your brain's own rescue team. Dr. Margaret Lewis, imagine your brain as a vast city glowing with millions of lights. Every memory, every thought, every tiny movement, each is a shining bulb of life. But when a single blood vessel gets blocked, a part of that city goes dark. No more energy, no more signals. The nerve cells begin to shut down, minute by minute, second by second. 1. When the brain is out of power, what happens in the first 3 minutes? In the first few dozen seconds, oxygen levels in the brain drop rapidly. Neurons lose the energy needed to send signals. The first sensations are mild, a light tingling in the hand, slight dizziness, or stumbling over words. Then one side of the body weakens, the face may droop, and speech becomes slurred or distorted. Dr. Lewis. When these symptoms appear briefly and then vanish, many people think they are out of danger. But in reality, the brain just sent an emergency message, a mini stroke. That is your final chance to act. 2. Early signs that must not be ignored. Dr. Lewis points to a diagram. Numbness or weakness on one side of the body, arm, leg, or face. Difficulty speaking slurred or strange-sounding words. Blurred or lost vision in one eye. Sudden dizziness or loss of balance. A severe headache with no clear reason. If any of these symptoms appear, even for just 30 seconds, treat it as a red alert. Because in that very moment, you have about 180 seconds to keep your brain alive. 3. The still flow method, a technique to keep blood flowing to your brain. Dr. Lewis introduces the method. When blood flow to the brain is blocked, the first thing you should do is not try to stand or move, but to let gravity work for you. Here is how to do it. A. Lie down immediately to avoid falling or injury. B. Raise your legs about 12 to 15 inches, which is around 30 to 40 centimeters, using a pillow blanket or anything soft. C. Inhale deeply through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold for 2 seconds, then exhale slowly through your mouth for 6 seconds. D. Keep repeating this pattern while someone nearby calls emergency services. F. Stay completely calm, do not talk too much or try to get up. Dr. Lewis explains further. This position helps blood from the legs and abdomen flow back to the heart, which temporarily increases blood circulation to the brain. Meanwhile, slow and deep breathing helps stabilize your heartbeat and blood pressure. Together, they form a temporary rescue path for your brain. 4. Scientific evidence. Dr. Elias Tanaka, a Japanese neurologist, appears on screen. In 2024, a joint research team from Harvard and the University of Tokyo followed more than 300 thanks in advance patients, people who practiced lying flat, raising their legs, breathing deeply. The results showed that those individuals reduced their risk of permanent brain damage by up to 40%. That is not a miracle, it is pure physiology. Dr. Lewis nods. We cannot stop a stroke in that very moment, but we can slow down the damage, buying the brain precious time until the ambulance arrives. In neurology, we call it time is brain. Every minute saved means millions of brain cells preserved. 5. Why calmness is more powerful than panic. When you panic, your heart races, blood pressure fluctuates, and blood vessels tighten. Your brain receives even less blood. When you stay calm, breathing slowly and evenly, blood vessels expand, circulation improves. Dr. Lewis looks directly into the camera, speaking slowly and clearly. Panic steals oxygen. Calmness brings it back. One breath can save the brain. One proper posture can preserve memory, speech, even life itself. Her voice softens, turning more emotional. But the reason many people fail to react in time is not because they do not know what to do. It is because they have learned to endure in silence, believing that it will pass soon. And that habit has cost far too many lives. In the next part, we will talk about why silence can sometimes be more dangerous than the stroke itself, and how you can train your body to respond correctly even when your mind is still filled with fear. Dr. Margaret Lewis looks straight into the camera, her tone deepens. Hundreds of patients I have met all share one thing in common. It is not that they were unaware of stroke risks. It is that they never believed it could happen to. A brief pause. Then she begins a personal story. My mother was 78. One afternoon while watering her flowers, she said, "My arm feels a little heavy, probably from gardening too much." 10 minutes later, her speech slowed. 5 minutes after that, one side of her face stopped moving. Yet she insisted, "I am fine, I just need to rest a bit." By the time we called the ambulance, it was too late. Her voice trembles, but she stays composed. She was strong, resilient, but it was that very habit of enduring in silence that kept her from being saved in time. 1. The dangerous habit of the older generation. Older adults, especially those who have lived through hardship, war, or loss, often share a common reflex: silent endurance. They believe that everything will pass eventually, but with a stroke, even 1 minute of delay can change an entire lifetime. I once heard an elderly man say, "I do not want to bother anyone just because of a little dizziness," but just a few hours later he could no longer speak, move, or even drink a sip of water on his own. Dr. Lewis pauses, then speaks slowly, word by word. That is not strength. That is a confusion between resilience and silence. And that silence can kill you. 2. The calm reflex, how you can train your body to survive. Dr. Elias Tanaka reappears on screen with a gentle smile. In Japan, we have an exercise called the calm reflex. It is like a fire drill, but for your brain. He explains. 1. Sit on a chair and imagine your arms suddenly going numb. 2. Immediately lie down, lift your legs, breathe deeply, and count 4, 2, 6, 3. Practice this a few times each week. Over time, your body will memorize this reflex. When a real emergency happens, you will not need to think, your body will already know what to do. Dr. Lewis nods. Her voice is soft yet filled with conviction. That is what I want everyone to understand. Calmness is not something you are born with. It is a skill, and you can learn it. 3. The science of brain recovery, hope after a stroke. Dr. Tanaka continues, the brain has an incredible ability called neuroplasticity, the power to relearn after injury. He explains, when one region of the brain shuts down, other areas can create new neural pathways to take over. Deep breathing, light movement, or even visualizing an action can help reopen those lost connections. A 2024 study from the University of Tokyo found that elderly stroke patients who practiced slow breathing and gentle limb movements for 2 weeks regained speech about 30% faster than those who did not. Dr. Lewis adds, this means that even after brain injury, life can find its way back if you give it the chance. 4. Emotional message. Prepare not out of fear, but out of love. Soft background music fades in as Dr. Lewis gazes thoughtfully into the distance. We rehearse fire drills, learn first aid, buy insurance, but we rarely rehearse for the most common crisis of old age, a stroke. Preparation is not fear. It is love. Love for your own life and for those you care about. She pauses, her tone warm and reassuring. If there is one thing I hope you remember after this video, it is that calmness does not mean standing still. Calmness means knowing what to do when every second counts. The light softens. Dr. Margaret Lewis's voice lowers deep and steady. After every storm, the sun still rises. And after every stroke, if you still breathe, it means your brain is fighting to come back to life. But do not wait for the storm to learn how to stand firm. Start every morning with 3 minutes of life, Dr. Lewis smiles gently as she begins to guide. The best way to protect your brain is to nourish it every single day. The 3-minute morning circulation routine. 1. Sit up slowly. Before getting out of bed, take 3 long deep breaths so your heart and brain can wake up together. 2. Flex your ankles and alternate raising your heels and toes for 60 seconds. This activates your soleus muscle, also known as the second heart, which helps push blood back to your heart and brain. 3. Rotate your shoulders and neck gently in circles, open your chest and let air and blood flow naturally. 4. Drink a glass of warm water before your coffee. It helps thin the blood and lowers the risk of blockage. Just 3 minutes, but those 3 minutes decide whether you start your day with clarity or fatigue. A 2024 Johns Hopkins University study found that adults over 60 who maintain this habit for 30 days reduce their risk of morning hypertension by 18% and increase blood flow to the brain by nearly 20%. A small number, but the difference between a brief dizzy spell and a strong, healthy day. 2. Breathing as a healing ritual. Dr. Lewis's voice softens to a near whisper. I often tell my patients, breathing is the bridge between the body and the soul. When you inhale deeply, you send oxygen to every brain cell. When you exhale slowly, you release fear and tension. Spend at least 5 minutes each day sitting quietly, breathing in the 4-2-6 rhythm. You do not need complex meditation, just stillness. Because stillness is the language the brain understands best. When the mind is calm, blood vessels open. When the vessels open, wisdom shines. You do not have to be a doctor to save a life. You just need to know what to do in those first 3 minutes. Preparation is not pessimism. Preparation is love. It is the gift you give to yourself, your partner, your children, and your grandchildren, a chance to live even for just a few more minutes, a few more breaths. She pauses, then smiles softly. I have met patients who returned to teaching, driving, even painting calligraphy, all because they remembered to lie down, lift their legs, and breathe slowly when the stroke began. Those people did not just survive, they continued living fully. If you are still watching this video, may not only be for you, but for someone you love. Share it. Because if just one person hears it, remembers it, and practices it, it could save a life someday. She gazes into the distance with a faint smile. Remember this. When blood hesitates, do not panic, breathe, lie low, and let gravity help you. Because in that very moment, calmness is the greatest strength a human being can have.